What if I told you that getting rich has almost nothing to do with how smart you are? Seriously, it turns out it has everything to do with how you act. It's a pretty wild idea, but honestly, it is the key to understanding how money really works. So let me tell you a quick story about two guys. First, there's Ronald Reed. He was a janitor his whole life, wore old clothes, even used safety pins to hold his coat together. Then you've got Richard Fiscone. This guy was the exact opposite. Harvard educated, big shot investment banker, had a mansion, a garage with 7 cars, the whole deal. Now here's the crazy part. When Ronald Reed died, he left behind an $8 million fortune. But when the 2008 financial crisis rolled around, Richard Fiscone went completely bankrupt. So you've got to ask yourself, right? How on earth does that happen? One guy had every advantage you can imagine: the education, the connections, the high-powered job. The other guy had, well, none of that. So how did their financial lives end up going in completely opposite directions? That is the big puzzle we're going to solve today. And the answer, it all comes down to this one really powerful idea from our source material. Being good with money isn't a hard science. It's not about complex formulas or genius-level IQ. It's a soft skill. It's about how you behave. It's a game of psychology, not intelligence. Okay, so let's dive into it. We're going to break this all down into 5 big lessons. First up, we'll talk about the giant roles that luck and risk play in your life. Then we'll get into the huge difference between getting rich and staying rich. After that, we're going to uncover what wealth actually is, because it's not what you think. Then we'll tackle the dangerous trap of always wanting more. And finally, we'll talk about the real reason to have money in the first place. All right, lesson 1. And this one's a little tough to swallow. You are not 100% in control of your financial life. Not even close. We all love to believe our successes are purely because we're brilliant, but there are these 2 massive, invisible forces always at play: luck and its evil twin, risk. I mean, just think about Bill Gates. The guy was a genius, no doubt. But in 1968, by sheer dumb luck, he happened to go to one of the only high schools in the entire world that had a computer. That was a 1 in a million shot. That was luck. But at the same time, his best friend Kent Evans, who was just as smart, died in a mountaineering accident before they even graduated. That was risk. It works the other way too. You have a guy like Jesse Livermore, a legendary trader who made a fortune betting against the 1929 crash, a total genius move. But just a few years later, risk caught up and he lost every single penny and died broke. So what's the big takeaway here? Since you can't get rid of luck and risk, you have to obsess about survival. It means you gotta be humble when you win, and you have to forgive yourself when you lose. The goal isn't to make one perfect genius move. Nope. The goal is to build a financial life that's tough enough to take a few hits, to survive the unexpected, so you can just stay in the game long enough for compounding and the odds to start working for you. And that idea of survival, it actually leads us perfectly into our second big lesson. See, everybody focuses on getting rich, but they totally forget that staying rich is a completely different skill. It's a different mindset. And if you don't master both, you're going to end up with nothing. Getting rich is your offense. It takes some guts, right? You got to be optimistic, you got to take some big swings, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there and take some risks to really get ahead of the pack. But then everything flips. To keep the money you've made, you have to play defense. And that's a whole different ballgame. Staying rich has nothing to do with taking more big risks. It's actually about a healthy dose of paranoia. It's about discipline and having the humility to know that you could lose it all just as fast as you made it. I mean, just look at the stories. You've got guys like Mike Tyson, who earned over $400 million and ended up bankrupt. Or Sam Bankman-Fried, who built a $26 billion empire and lost it all in like a week because he just kept doubling down on insane risks. And then you have Warren Buffett. He didn't have one spectacular year. He just had 70 years of consistent, kind of boring, good decisions where his number one goal was just don't get wiped out. It's like Buffett always says, the absolute number one rule of compounding is to never interrupt it when you don't have to. The magic only happens over a long, long time. So the most important thing you can do is avoid that one huge mistake that takes you off the board for good. It's all about longevity. Okay, lesson 3. And this one is a big one. It's a mental trap that so many of us fall into. We are just hardwired to think that wealth is something you can see. But the truth is, real wealth is almost always invisible. Think about it. When you see someone driving a $100,000 car, what's your first thought? Wow, that person must be rich. But that's a huge assumption. The only thing we know for sure about that person is that they have $100,000 less than they used to. We see their spending, but we have no idea what their actual net worth is. So, what is real wealth then? It's pretty simple, actually. It's the nice car you didn't buy. It's the fancy watch you decided against. Wealth is the money you save and invest, not the money you spend. It's the financial assets that are growing for you, quietly in the background. That's exactly how Ronald Reed, the janitor, became a secret millionaire. He just saved and invested, and nobody ever saw it. And if you need proof, just look at this number. It is honestly shocking. A huge majority of people, and this includes a lot of people with really high incomes, are living paycheck to paycheck. How is that even possible? It's because every time they get a raise, their spending goes up right along with it. They're stuck in this trap of trying to look rich instead of actually being wealthy. Okay, so let's get into what might be the most dangerous psychological trap of all: the endless, nagging desire for more. This isn't just a money problem, it's a human problem, and it can destroy even the most successful people. Seriously, take a second and ask yourself that question. How much is enough? Do you have an actual number? And if you hit it, would you really be content? Or would that finish line just move a little further away? Well, studies show a funny thing about us humans. No matter how much we make, most of us feel like we need 2 or 3 times that amount to finally feel secure or rich. It's this gap that never, ever closes, unless you consciously decide to stop moving the goalposts. This is why you see billionaires risk everything, their reputation, their freedom, for just a little bit more. They never defined what enough was for them. And there's this weird psychological quirk that explains why we do this. It's called the man in the car paradox. So check this out. When you see someone in a really nice car, you don't think, wow, that person driving is so cool. No, what you think is, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm so cool. It's this totally subconscious trap where we chase admiration by buying stuff, not realizing that nobody is admiring us, they're just admiring the stuff. All right, our final lesson, and this is the whole point of the game, right? After all the hard work, the saving, the investing, what is all this money actually for? What's the real payoff? And this quote just nails it perfectly. The absolute best thing that money can buy isn't a bigger house or a faster car. It's freedom. It's autonomy. It's the ability to wake up one morning and say, you know what? I can do whatever I want today. That control over your own time, that is the highest dividend that money will ever pay. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. What are the big truths we need to remember? Number 1, luck and risk are real, so you have to build a system that can survive them. Number 2, getting rich and staying rich are not the same thing. You have to master survival. 3, real wealth is what you don't see. It's what you don't spend. 4, you have to define what enough is, or you'll be on a treadmill forever. And finally, number 5, the ultimate goal of money isn't stuff, it's time. It's freedom. Control is the real prize. So I'll leave you with this one last thought. The goal isn't just about having the biggest number in your bank account. It's about using your money to build a life that actually feels rich. A life where you have freedom and options and the power to live completely on your own terms. That, right there, is the whole point.